Hello everybody, it's Tarun. Welcome to the 12th tutorial in the HTML course. In this tutorial, I'll start with Unit 4, which is adding images. So let's get started. But before starting, I'll tell you what I'll teach in this chapter. First of all, I'll teach you something about image formats, then adding images to a web page, and then using src, alt, width, and height attributes. So let's get started. A web page with all text and no pictures isn't much fun. The web explosion into mass popularity was due in part to the fact that there were images on the page. So I mean to say that if you do not have web images on your web page, then the reader or user which is using your web page will or can feel bored about your web page. So you can or you need to use images in your web page. So before images, the internet was only text oriented. Images appear on the web in two ways. First is embedded in the inline content, and second as background images. Background images are added using CSS and will be talked up in length in CSS course. And with the emergence of internet, we need to use images in our web page. So in this unit, we'll focus on embedding image content into the document using the img element, and we'll use the img element when the image is the content, such as product shots, gallery images, advertisements, illustrations, and so on. So I think you get the idea. So let's start with the first topic of this unit, which is a word on image formats. Okay, we'll get to the image element and markup examples in a moment, but first it's important to know what you can't put just an image on a web page. In order to be displayed inline, images must be in the formats GIF, JPEG, or PNG file format. In addition to being in an appropriate format, images files need to be named with proper suffix, okay, which is .gif or .jpg or JPEG and .png respectively, in order to be recognized by the browser. So if you have a source image that is in another popular format such as TIFF, BMP, or EPS, you'll need to convert it into a web format before you can add it to the page. So if for some reason you must keep your graphic file in the original format, okay, and you can make it available as an external image by making a link directly to the image file like this. Just let me show you. Okay, you can add a link here. Here I have added the link, get the drawing, and I have added image architecture.eps. So I had an image of EPS format, so I named it py also, and I stored it in my HTML folder only. Okay, and I have created a link to that. So if I go ahead and check it in the browser, so you can see that it is showing the link, and if I click the link, so you can see that it has downloaded our file. Okay, browsers use helper applications to display or download the media they cannot handle. So in this case, the browser cannot handle an EPS file. So instead of showing or displaying it in the browser window, it downloaded the file. Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at image element and its required and recommended attributes. Okay, so we'll talk about image element in detail now. The image element tells the browser place an image here, and you have already gotten a glimpse of it in the earlier units. So you can also place an image element right in the flow of text at the point where you want the image to appear. So as in the following example, I'll just show you. So here is, in this example, there is some random text and one image inside the random text. So let me just save it and I'll run it to you. So if I refresh, you can see that it is showing I've been wanting to go to Tuscany, then the image for a long time, and I was not disappointed. Okay, so this was just a random example. Do not try to make meaning from that example. So when the browser sees the IMG element, it makes a request on the server and retrieves the image file before displaying it on the page. On a fast network with a fast computer, even though a separate request is made for each image file, the page fully appears to arrive instantaneously. On mobile devices with slow network connections, we may be well aware of the wait for images to be fetched one at a time. The same is true for users still using dial-up internet connections or other slow networks. Like the expensive Wi-Fi at luxury hotels, you can use or find the images are loading pretty fast on the internet. So when designing mobile web experiences, it is wise to limit the number of server requests in general, which means carefully considering the number of images on the page. And the next thing is SRC and ALT attributes. So the SRC and ALT attributes shown in the example are required. The SRC attribute tells the browser the location of the image file, and the ALT attribute provides alternative text that displays if the image is not available. We'll talk about SRC and ALT a little more in the upcoming part of the video. So there are a few things of note about the IMG element. It is an empty element, which means it does not have any content. You just place it in the flow of text where the image should go. If you choose to write in the stricter XHTML syntax, you need to terminate the empty image element with a slash like so. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to add a slash here. Okay, at the just after the closing angular bracket. It is an inline element, so it behaves like any other inline element in the text flow. The IMG element is what's known as a replaced element because it has been replaced by an external file when the page is displayed. This makes it different from the text elements that have their content right there in the source document. By default, the bottom edge of an image aligns with the baseline of text, and as I have shown you in the browser window, that you can see the baseline of the image it goes with the baseline of the text. Using CSS, you can float the image to the right or the left margin and allow the text to flow around it. Control the space and borders around the image and change its vertical alignment. So, which you can learn in more in the CSS course. So now let's talk about the attribute SRC. The value of SRC attribute is the URL of the image file. In most cases, the images you use on your pages will reside on your server only. So you will use relative URLs to point to them. In short, if the image is in the same directory as the HTML document, you can just refer to the image by name in the SRC attribute. Okay, as I've told you in the last unit also. Okay, as I've done here, I haven't told the source attribute to go to any other directory to find the image. It is residing inside the HTML folder only. Developers usually organize the images for a site into a directory called images, assets or graphics. There may be even separate images directory for each section of the site. If an image is not in the same directory as the document, you need to provide the path name to the image file. Okay, so let me just show you that. So this is my HTML folder. Okay, and if I copy or move this file inside a basic HTML5 folder and then new, okay, then I paste it, or okay, and then now the image lies inside the new folder which is inside basic HTML5. So what changes do I need to do here is, first of all, I need to type in the file name, the folder name HTML5, okay, or you can consider it the path name. Then it is in the new folder, and then slash again. So if I refresh it and then let's see it in a browser, then you can see that there is no change because the browser is able to find the file in the new folder. Okay, so moving forward to the next attribute, which is the ALT attribute, which stands for alternate text. Every image element must also contain an ALT attribute that is used to provide a brief description of the image for those who are not able to see it, such as users with screen readers or even small mobile devices. Alternate text should serve as a substitute for the image content, serving the same purpose and presenting the same information. So let me just show you an example of that. So in here, if I add a fish image in the alternate, okay, and then I destroy the path here or make any path which do not exist, so the image will not be, the browser will not be able to find the image inside the HTML5 folder here, okay, and so it will show us the alternate, which is fish image. So let's save it, run it. Just wait, let me see what is happening. Well, sometimes it can happen that it will not show you the alternate text, but you must use alternate attribute inside your image element, okay, because it will cause the document to be invalid. So for each inline image on your page, consider what the alternative text would sound like when you read loud, and whether that enhances or it just makes difficult for the screen reader's experience. So alternative text may benefit the user with graphical browsers as well. If a user has opted to turn off images off in the browser preferences, or if the image simply fails to load, the browser may display the alternative text to give the user an idea of what is missing. So let's move forward to the next attributes, which is providing width and height dimensions. Okay, so the attributes goes like this. First of all, we'll write our image tag only, then source, then after source we'll add alternate attribute, then width, and then height. The width and height attributes indicate the dimension of image in number of pixels, but these attributes can speed up the time which it takes to display the final page by seconds. Browsers use the specified dimensions to hold the right amount of space in the layout while the images are loading, rather than reconstructing the page each time a new image arrives. So, and it is great if you are designing one version of your page with one fixed image size. However, in these days of responsive web design, it is common to create several versions of same image and send a small one to small mobile device and a larger one for larger screen device. Okay, if you are scaling images in a responsive design or delivering multiple image sizes, do not use width and height attributes in the markup. With this in mind, let's look at how width and height work for those cases. when it is appropriate to use them. Okay. So we'll match values with actual pixel size. So be sure that the pixel dimensions you specify are the actual dimensions of the image. So if the pixels differ from the actual dimensions of your image, the browser resizes the image to match the specified value. Although it may be tempting to resize images in this manner, you should avoid doing so. Even though the image may appear small on the page, the large image with its corresponding large file size still needs to download. It is better to resize the image in an image editing program and then place it at actual size on the page. Not only that, but resizing with attributes usually results in a blurry and deformed image. In fact, if your images even look fuzzy when viewed in browser, the first thing to check that is the width and height values match the dimension of image exactly. Okay. So I'll just show you an example of it. So okay, I'm having image name best.jpg. Okay, and I'm leaving the alternate as blank, and I am assigning its width as 200 and height also as 200. And note that these 200 quantity, it is in pixels. So if I save it and run it in the browser, so you can see that it has shrunken the image. But what I was telling you earlier is that even though you have shrunk the image in the display, but whenever you are working on internet, the actual size of image will be downloaded, and then the image will be shrunken and then shown. So if you want this thing to not to happen, then you should edit the image with an image editing software, as I told you, and then put the actual image in the source document. So now let's move forward to the next topic, which is a window in a window. As long as we are talking about embedding things on a page, I thought I'd also tell you about the iframe element, which lets you embed a separate HTML document or other resource in a document. So what you see on the page here is will be another HTML document inside a HTML document. So let me just show you. Okay, this is the iframe tag. It is also a empty tag. So it has attribute source, width and height. In the source, I'll give this page2.html. So if I save it and now let me show it in the browser. So you can see that it is showing a web page within a web page. So let me make it clear to you. So if I'm having this text inside my page 2, so let's refresh it. Just wait. Let me see what is happening here. Okay, now it is fine. So now you can see that it is showing a web page within a web page. Okay. So this was all from my side in this tutorial and in this unit. In the next tutorial, I'll start with next unit, which is tables. And with this unit also I have attached some questions which you can do by yourself, and you can Google them, and you should practice them to get good understanding of HTML. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial.